Algernon is slowly gathering supplies for us. So, let's talk about the Confederate States of America for a minute. Um, we know that a confederacy is a group of countries or states or people that come together to make massive decisions about war, about treaties, but otherwise, individually, the groups are left to deal with their own legal issues for the most part. It's different than a republic. So the Confederate States of America, right, they want the ability to make their own laws on their own state books. They don't want the federal government interfering with enslavement. And they've been doing that since the 1800s. And so they've already split off. They've decided they're fed up. They've had enough. Abraham Lincoln's too much. We're going. So we talked about the 7 states that split off. South Carolina, followed quickly by Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, etc. They're not going to be a union. They're going to be a confederation. Again, confederations run differently. They're individual states who come together under a central government to resolve certain issues. By forming this confederacy, the states are allowed to exercise autonomy within each area and keep the practice of enslavement, but collectively work to fight off the Union. So on February of 1861, the Confederate States drafted their new constitution in Montgomery, Alabama. And the constitution is very similar to the original U.S. Constitution of 1787. There's one major change, obviously. The whole reason that we're here is because they want to focus on enslavement. And the original Constitution does not. The only reference to enslavement in the original Constitution is the Three-Fifths Compromise and the ban on the international slave trade 20 years after ratification. The Southern Confederate Constitution declares that this nation exists to defend and perpetuate racial slavery and the leadership of the slaveholding class. Specifically, this Constitution protects the interstate slave trade. It guarantees that slavery would exist in any new territory gained by the Confederacy. And in Article 1, Section 9 declares that no law impairing or denying the right of property in Negro slaves shall be passed. You can't argue with that, you know? A lot of people want to, but the facts are there. That is what the Constitution was. That was their goal, to uphold enslavement. Jefferson Davis is elected president of the Confederacy, and Alexander Stephens is his vice president until elections can be held, in which case he's officially elected. He's chosen by delegates just like we have in the past. By 1861, 4 more states have joined the Confederacy: Virginia, Arkansas, Tennessee, and North Carolina. Missouri and Kentucky claimed it, but hadn't actually seceded. Their states had not approved secession yet. That's why they become border states, because they never get the votes to actually secede from the Union. They also make their inauguration day March 4th. It's March 4th, 1861. It's a year after Lincoln's been inaugurated. They are going to inaugurate their new president, Jefferson Davis, who repeats his views on slavery with his speech by saying, "I have no purpose, directly or indirectly, to interfere with the institution of slavery in the states where it exists. I believe I have no lawful right to do so, and I have no inclination to do so." According to Abraham Lincoln, this is illegal. The Union is not allowed to be dissolved by individual state actions, and therefore secession is unconstitutional. So we talk about how he refuses to recognize the Confederate States as a separate nation because he doesn't think they have the constitutional right to do this. And we will continue to see the pushback from Lincoln and the change where he goes from anti-slavery expansionist to abolitionist as the war goes on, once the war actually starts, which we will visit in the next 10-minute video.